Hey friend, Graham here from recordingrevolution.com. Let's talk about the most strategic way to use your EQ plugins in your mix, and that is to harness subtractive EQ, okay? This is something I teach a lot. This is something that can really change the way you work. This isn't the only way to approach it by any means, but I think it's the best way. That's why I'm teaching it to you. What's the idea? Well, the idea is that you have an EQ and that allows you to boost or cut frequencies. I think that's pretty obvious. We're familiar with this even as early on as being in our car and looking at our car stereos. It's like boost the treble or boost the bass or cut the highs, right? But unfortunately, when we think about EQ, we typically just think about more. Give me more low end, more top end, more mid range. And so we think to boost first. And I want to make the case, I don't think that's the best way to approach mixing. In fact, it's the worst way to approach mixing if you're in a home studio environment with a less than ideal sonic space, if you haven't really arranged the track well and you're not really strategic in your recording placement and technique, and if you're using a lot of the same instruments and same microphones, you have a lot of sonic similarity across the board. It just doesn't actually help you. It can actually make things worse by turning up more noise from your room and just adding more noise and more signal to your mix, which can crowd your mix bus and make your stuff sound bad. The idea is subtract first. Take away the frequencies that you don't need first. This will do two things. One, it'll give you more headroom, which will clear up space for your mix bus to sound good, for the DAW engine to sound its best. Too much stuff piling up at the top of your mix bus over here. When you've got too much signal up here hitting zero, it's going to clip, it's going to distort, it doesn't sound good. So take away frequencies you don't need, it frees up headroom. Two, it reveals the better part of the track. When you cut out the stuff that you don't need in a specific track, it allows the speakers and the headphones to use its energy to just produce and reproduce the frequencies and the stuff that sounds good in the track, which will actually make it sound better and more apparent. I've already taught you here a bunch of times on this channel that the easiest way to start using subtractive EQ is to use an HPF or a high pass filter. It's the roll off that rolls off low end. That gives you instant clarity in your mix. The idea though is to take that a step further. Cut out other stuff first instead of boosting. So if you look at this track, I'm going to click on all the EQs. Yes, you're going to see a couple of boosts. It's not that boosts are bad. Okay, I'm going to talk about that in another video, but it's that subtractive EQ is what you do first, and it's what you'll see more of if you look at my mixes, is more cuts than boosts. Two cuts there, one cut there, two cuts, two cuts, two cuts, two cuts, two cuts, one cut, two cuts, one cut, one cut, one cut, 1, 2, 3 cuts, 1, 2, 3 cuts, two cuts, 1, 2 cuts, 1, 2, 2, 2, and 1. Lots of cutting, okay? That makes a huge difference. What I want you to do is take a listen to this track, and I'm going to bypass all the EQs, which is going to get rid of all the cuts. It's mostly cuts, a handful of boosts, and see the difference subtractive EQ can make. Do you hear how much clarity comes back? How much openness happens when it's primarily the cuts? It's primarily the cuts. I know this sounds counterintuitive, but I'm telling you, cuts is where the magic happens in EQ. And so what I want you to do systematically, it's very simple. When you get a track and it's time to think about any EQ, if it's a guitar, for example, I want you to grab an EQ. I want you to first think about, can I roll off some low end? Should I implement a high pass filter? The answer is probably going to be yes. That will be your first cut. Then I want you to look at the low mid range. Think about anywhere from 200 to 500 hertz, maybe 600 hertz, and start to boost around that area, sweep around and see where there's a lot of negative energy. And I don't mean anything weird. I mean, like literally nasty sounding sonic energy in the 2 to 5, 600 range. Wherever it sounds the biggest and worst when you're boosting and sweeping around, leave it there and then cut it from 3 to 6 dB as a starting point. Do more if you need it. If you can remove ultra low end with a high pass and low mid mud in the 2 to 500 range that's not needed in a track, and it'll be a different frequency for every instrument, you will create so much more clarity, so much more headroom, and the good stuff of the tracks will start to make themselves apparent. Then you can consider some boosting EQ, which I'll cover in another video. But if you start here, you're gonna get a better sounding mix, I promise you. Subtractive EQ, cut first, then boost later if needed at all. Two things for you. One, leave me a comment. Let me know, do you do subtractive EQ? If so, how is it working for you? If not, will you consider it? Leave me a comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. And two, if you want more strategy with EQ, I have a simple 7-step EQ checklist. I want to give it to you. Just go to eqchecklist.com. Put the link here. It's in the video. It's below in the description. eqchecklist.com. Download this. I think it's a 2-page PDF. It walks you through my 7-step process. It's a checklist for how I approach EQ. It'll be super helpful for you. It's going to reinforce what you're learning here. Keep it on your phone or tablet, print it out, put it by where you mix. I don't care, but use it, enjoy it, take advantage of it. It's a really helpful resource when it comes to EQ. Because again, EQ is your most powerful plugin that you have. And if you can get your EQ moves right, it can be the difference maker of a muddy mix or a harsh mix to having a clear, balanced mix that translates on any speaker you play it on. Grab it for free at eqchecklist.com. I think it'll help you out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in another video real soon.